virtually.
Hi.
Hey, Colleen.
Just a quick question. I'm sorry if you discussed this in more depth during the meeting, but I just wanted to touch on the ports. You know, how is the ports department planning for adjusting? What are you anticipating given the tariffs, given the volatility, and especially, you know, I think some are concerned that there's going to be a significant drop off in cargo latter half of the year. So just want to get a feel for how is the port adjusting to that, and what are you hearing from terminal operators?
Well, Colleen, I think we have our port director participating virtually. I'll turn it over to her. I think it's just important to take a note, which is that the port is performing extraordinarily strongly. And in March, the Port of New York and New Jersey was the busiest port in the nation. There was no congestion, and I think the port historically has adjusted both up and down in response to market trends, really without missing a beat. So I think it's important to remember that framework, and I will leave to Beth Ann reporting on what the shipping community is saying. Beth Ann, are
Thank
you
you,
on?
Mr. Cotton. And Colleen, as Rick indicated, you know, we're doing very well now. There certainly has been, you know, quite a bit of front loading in the first quarter of the year in anticipation of the tariffs. Now, the tariffs that are in effect on Chinese goods and the 10% across the board, we certainly have seen and know of shippers that are outsourcing away from China into Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Malaysia. We even have some of our customers that have shifted their sourcing to the Dominican Republic, where they would face the lesser tariff rates. We are far less dependent on Chinese goods than the West Coast ports. On average, the West Coast ports see 65 to 66% of their volume coming out of China, whereas we're seeing about 25% of our volume. So the diversification of cargo and sourcing of cargo for the Port of New York and New Jersey certainly bodes well. We do anticipate that there will be a drop-off of cargo, as you suggested, in the second half of the year. But that's based on what we know now. And as you indicated in your question, there's a lot of volatility and uncertainty. So, you know, I think we'll all be cautiously optimistic that some of these, you know, conditions will change for the better, and that we'll continue to have a strong year throughout.
Great. Thank you so much for the context and insight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Colleen.
And last question is Larry Higgs with New Jersey Advanced Media. Larry?
Thanks. And I'm kind of piggybacking on some of the stuff that Colleen mentioned. The first question, obviously, is who was number one? Who did you snatch the number one from? And the follow-up questions are, you know, part of the tariffs are going to be on vehicles. I know that the port does quite a significant roll-on, roll-off business. How do you see that being affected? And, you know, as a mitigating factor to whatever the tariffs do, what are the chances of a holiday bounce back?
Yeah, so with regards to, you know, the number one, number two, the ports of Los Angeles, Long Beach, New York, New Jersey, are regularly bouncing in and out of, you know, first, second, and third position. So for the month of March, on loaded container volume, we were number one, followed by Long Beach and then LA. They have seen a pretty significant drop-off in their loaded container volume. On the full quarter, however, Los Angeles is number one on the full quarter, and we're number three. And repeat your second question, Larry?
Oh, sure. The second question is, how do you see tariffs affecting the the large
Autos.
automotive business that you folks do? And is there a chance for some mitigation from a holiday bounce back as as shippers start to bring in merchandise for the Christmas season?
Yeah, so we're right now are in the season, believe it or not. We're in the season of beginning to see the back to school products. So when you consider that the kids will just barely be out of class in the middle of June and those back to school sales start, those are the products that are beginning to come in now. The outside of China, the 90-day delay in those additive tariffs from 70 countries around the world certainly helps. And those tariffs, if and when they do go into effect, assuming they do go into effect 90 days from now, that's for cargo when it arrives in the United States. So if you then consider that you need 5 to 6 weeks to get from Asia to the U.S. East Coast, that cargo is not arriving here until July, August. So what we do expect to happen is another rush to get as much cargo in as possible prior to those other tariffs taking effect. And then finally on the automobiles, autos, because of their base price being so much significantly higher, is certainly much more sensitive to the tariffs. We have seen manufacturers in Mexico shifting volume, not through the Port of New York, not affecting the Port of New York and New Jersey. There is a new tariff that will go into effect 180 days from now on a per vehicle basis, carrying capacity basis for every car ship that arrives in the United States. And that's $125 per vehicle. So again, lots of uncertainty, Larry, but we have not seen a drop off yet in our automobile volume, but we would anticipate, there being some impact if things don't change.
Good, Tom.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Larry.
That concludes the Q&A. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everyone.